And people, please listen to me. This is really important. Okay. Treat yourself well. If you're not going to do that, who is? And if you're looking for that outside of you, or you're waiting for it or something like that, you're not living. You're not living in the moment. Now is all we have. So make sure that every moment that you can, you're doing something to make you happy. It is a choice. And I've been around a lot of people who are not happy. They're not cheerful. They start their day with the mouth downturned and grumpy and everything else, and it doesn't get any better. So I've had to counsel people on that and say, it's your choice. Do you want to be happy or do you want to be upset? And if they want to be upset, well, that's their right to do if they really want to do that. But most of the time, they don't want to be that way. So I tell them, okay, so choose to be happy. I do. And then I find things throughout my day to do that make me happy. Simple
Right.
things. I might like get on YouTube and listen to a comedian. I might put on either a spooky two rife frequency thing to help me with healing something or balancing something, or I might put on some higher hertz, specifically, different types of hertz for whatever it is that I want to feel. Or I might put on a meditation. But I do things that make me happy, that give me that little flip of joy in my heart to know that I've treated myself well in that day.
This is the Wonder Network, where we discuss healthy options for humanity. I am Michael Lane, and joining me today as co host is Dr. Val. Dr. Val is a retired, seasoned naturopathic physician and registered nurse with over 4 decades of experience spanning various realms of acute care, including emergency, intensive care, cardiac care, home health, and home hospice. How you doing, Dr. Val?
Good, Michael. How are you doing?
Good. Good, good, good. Excited about the topic today. Yep. It's one that I uh, involve in my daily routine quite a bit.
That's good because mine is probably a lot more simple than yours.
Okay. Well, let's talk about it. Energizing morning routines
Mhm.
and different various routines. Mine's kind of morphed and changed over the years, but basically what works for me, I do, you want to get, you got to get the body hydrated, naturally get something in there for food. Now, and I will say this, because I do, for the most part of my morning routine for a long time has always been a protein shake that I load up with uh, all sorts of, nutritional items and everything. And it becomes where I make it a meal. But I've also
Mhm.
played around with the idea of intermittent fasting to where I don't eat anything until noontime. And I do, I can't remember what that is, a 12 or 12-hour fast or whatever, not a 12. Uh, I have an 8-hour window where I eat, and then
Yeah,
16, it'd be what,
16 hours
16? Yeah.
fasting.
So it's a 16-8 split. So, but for the most part, everything else, when I'm not doing the intermittent fasting, which I just do that periodically, maybe for a month, and then I'll get off of it for a month or something like that. But the morning protein shake is a big part of that. Drinking, I would recommend I got to drink a glass of water, tall glass of water. As soon as you get up, your body's dehydrated overnight. So I got to get water in my system. That really helps the protein shake. But one of my biggest things in my morning routine is my meditations.
Mhm.
If I miss meditations, I feel it throughout the rest of the day. And I would recommend for people that are interested in doing that, even if, I know a lot of people, it's tough, do a 20, 30-minute rip, we're all in a busy world. You do a 20, 30-minute meditation. Some people can't squeeze that in. Even if you just do 5 minutes
Yeah.
is where you don't need to do a 20, 30-minute meditation every day. If you just get in your own space for just 5 minutes, will do wonders for your day, help you out to get you started right. Maybe to throw on some high frequency, some 432 hertz frequency, binaural beats if you're into something like that, or the 528 is good too. And I've
Mhm.
done all that. Or if your household's quiet enough to just sit in your own space, with
Mhm.
nothing. So it's all of how I feel that morning of how I attack my meditations. Um, so those are a few things that I really get into. Some stretching, especially at our age. Stretching is good. I like to get it, just do some mild stretching to get loosened up and limbered up to get the day going. I know some people like to jump right into a yoga routine, which is something to consider if that's appeals to you. But those are kind of the few things that I kind of get into.
Yeah, that's good. You've got a regimen. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
You know, personally, I'm a night person
Okay.
and trying to live in a day world. And so for me, it's like, a lot of people, if you're a day person, you wake up, your eyeballs blink open, and you're like, morning. And you jump up, you're ready to go, you're all cheerful. I'm like, oh, don't talk to me until I've had my
You
coffee.
had your coffee. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so it's like it's a whole different thing, and most type O's, doesn't matter what time we get up, our stomach doesn't wake up until about 11 or 12.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why. I have no idea. That's just one of those things. And when I used to give lectures on the blood type diet, I would mention that, and all the typos in the room would always go, "Yeah, that's me. That's me." I'm like, I don't know why. I haven't seen anything written about how that is, but yeah, for me, I've been trying to switch to a healthier routine because I know how to do this stuff. And so for me, I start with mindful awakening. So I lay there in bed, and the first thought I have is, oh, geez, I hope it's not too late. Because in the summertime, it's hard to get my routine going if I sleep too late. So I like to wake up about the crack of 7 o'clock. That's good for me. If I wake up at 4 or 5, I'm toast for the rest of the day. It just doesn't work for me. But 7 o'clock I can manage. So I lay there for a few minutes and I try to recall my dream, whatever the last dream was, and try to determine if that is something that I should pay attention to or not. Sometimes I have prophetic dreams, sometimes they're just, the brain just getting rid of things. Sometimes it's an answer to a question that I've asked. And the dream will actually show me throughout that whole dream, usually all night, that, this is the answer to the question that I asked. So I find that that first 10 or 15 minutes of awakening is the only time I'm going to think about that until I go to sleep again. And so I've learned just to lay there and be quiet and just try to figure out, can I retain any of that or not? So then the next thing I do is I go into my pre-breakfast routine. So I get up, I drink a glass of room temperature water with either lemon or lime juice in it. And I just glug that down really quick. I fill up my water bottle and put on my walking shoes and I head out the door and take a walk, as far as I feel I can go for that particular time. And then I'll sit underneath the tree. There's a little sitting area at the top of the hill where I live. And I'll just go sit there after I've done the majority of my walk and I connect with the tree and with Mother Earth. And I take my shoes off and put my bare feet on the rocks there carefully. And, and then I just kind of imagine that my roots are going deep down into Mother Earth. And I say, hello, Mother.
Yes.
I'm putting my roots down into you. Please help me to ground. And please drain any negative, dark, and or false light out of me. And use it for whatever you need to use it for. You know, sometimes it's positive energy, sometimes it's what we would think of as negative energy. But Mother Earth uses whatever there is to be used. So I start with that, and then I say, hello, tree. And nowadays you can say this kind of stuff out loud. Nobody's going to look at you weird because they don't know if you're talking on the phone or not.
Right.
So I just sit there and just bask in the warmth of the tree, and I love this tree. I don't know what kind it is, but I think it's some kind of a pine or a spruce or something. And it doesn't have any bird's nests in it because its foliage is not dense enough. But it's a beautiful tree and it still gives shade. And so I'm grateful to the tree. And I just connect with that tree too. And I ask the tree to help me to balance. And you can feel it when you do this. I'm not even touching the tree, I'm just sitting within maybe 2 feet of it.
Right.
And so I let that happen. And then I greet the sun. And, I take those few minutes. It's not quite a meditation, it's more of a just connection and grounding, which I feel that we all need. And I know I definitely do because I'm in an area that's full of electronics. So I do that. I go home and I think, okay, now I have to get on with my day. So, let the cats out into their outdoor cage and feed them. And then I get my coffee, and I've been forcing myself to eat something because, like I said, I'm not hungry till 11 or 12. So when I get up in the morning, breakfast is the last thing on my mind.
Right.
But I try to start my day with protein, and I'll try to make it a protein that's going to last longer. So I'll do beans. I make what I call breakfast beans. And so it's a mix of 3 or 4 different types of beans and some kind of a protein beyond that. And that keeps blood sugar steady. Now, I don't
Okay.
have a problem with blood sugar, but maybe that's why, because I keep it so that my blood sugar is pretty much the same throughout the day.
Right.
And so then I feel okay. I don't need a lot because I'm not hungry, but it gets me through until dinner time because I also do intermittent fasting. So usually by 3 o'clock, I'm done eating. And, then I'll have something to drink, maybe usually some kind of tea, or I'll just have just distilled water. And I structure it so, I'm getting the best from the water that I can get. So there's that. And then when we're talking about starting our day, that's the part that everybody thinks about. But there's so much more to it. So, like for me, I look at the clothing that I'm wearing, and I guess it was the last 6 months or so, I got clued into the frequencies of clothes. And I realized that the bulk of my wardrobe was something with polyester or rayon or silk. And all of those are considered to be very low vibratory clothing.
Right.
So I thought, well, I've been sick for a long time with weird stuff that kept happening. So I kept thinking, well, I think I'm just going to go through all of my wardrobe and throw out everything that isn't a natural fiber. Now, people will say silk is natural. Yes, it is. So is bamboo. And I had a lot of bamboo too. The problem is that the processing of it then takes away the energy that you could be using. And so I look for 100% cotton, 100% wool, 100% linen, or sometimes a linen cotton mix. That's okay too. Now, the vibratory frequencies are very interesting. So, linen and wool each have a 5,000 vibration, but they're completely opposite each other. So, they talk about how in the Bible it says that you're not to wear wool and linen together. That's why they cancel each other out.
I've
So,
heard
it's not
that.
healthy.
Yeah.
So, my day starts with making sure that the clothing that I'm wearing is going to support me throughout my day. And it has made a big difference.
Hmm.
And this also transfers into bed linens. So I changed my bed linens. I went from bamboo, which I loved, to kind of a rough linen, which I also love now because I could feel the difference immediately. And it's only gotten better. And so those two things are vitally important to the rest of my day. It used to be I'd have to sit down, take a 3 or 4 hour nap. I don't have to do that anymore because I'm not wearing things that aren't supporting me. So it seems like a small thing, but you'll notice if you happen to have been battling any kind of an illness or a chronic disease or something, and you change your clothing and your bed linens, you're going to start to see a difference, unless you're completely unenergetically sensitive. In which case, hopefully, you would at least see that you are healing. So there's that. And I also make sure that the colors that I'm wearing are conducive to what I feel I need for that day. Some days I need really bright colors. Other days I'm okay to fade into the woodwork. So I just go along with the colors as well. I love colors. And so I have all kinds of colors. And so I will normally look at my day. If I have to generate a lot of power, for instance, if I have to go give a lecture or something, I'm not going to wear things to make me fade into the background. I'm going to wear bright colors. I'm going to wear something that hits people on a different level for whatever it is that I'm trying to accomplish. For instance, blue or brown are considered the colors that are believable, whereas pink is the color that makes you lovable. So is apricot. And if you put black and yellow together or black and red, you're going to give somebody a stinging.
Hmm.
And so that can work. If you're in a business meeting, then, and you want the position of power, you can use those colors to achieve that. And it's a subconscious thing. People won't really notice it unless they know about the use of colors. So I use that in my everyday life just to make me feel better. You know? So it's it's one of those things that's so subtle that most people aren't going to notice it. But when you start combining all these things, it'll make your day better.
Unlock your natural healing gifts and transform lives. Are you intuitive, compassionate, and driven to make a difference? The Wonder Network offers you a path to turn your calling into a fulfilling career in the healing arts. Imagine helping others while building a rewarding profession, all within 60 to 90 days, and we even have payment plans to help get you started. Our holistic health training courses empower you to develop your unique healing abilities, start earning while you learn, join a supportive community of like-minded individuals. Ready to embrace your true potential? Click now to discover how the Wonder Network can guide you towards a meaningful career in holistic healing. Your journey begins here.
So there's that. And then the other thing I do is I look at my to-do list, and whatever is prioritized is what I do first, especially if I don't want to do it. I will get those things done absolutely first. Otherwise, it's going to eat away at you all
Yes.
day long. And if you don't get it done, you're going to be beating yourself up as you go to bed. So it's really important to take care of the things that must be taken care of right away. So prioritize your list. And I'm not talking about a list of 20 things. I'm talking about maybe you have two or three things that are priorities, and then maybe another seven things that you want to get done. But if you don't get them done, it's no big deal.
Right.
So the whole reason for that is to make sure you're not beating yourself up, because we all do that too much anyway. So it's a thing to help me to be cheerful throughout the day. Oh, and the other thing I forgot to mention is I choose every morning to be happy. It is a choice. And I've been around a lot of people who are not happy. They're not cheerful. They start their day with the mouth downturned and grumpy and everything else, and it doesn't get any better. So I've had to counsel people on that and say, it's your choice. Do you want to be happy or do you want to be upset? And if they want to be upset, well, that's their right to do if they really want to do that. But most of the time, they don't want to be that way. So I tell them, okay, so choose to be happy. I do. And then I find things throughout my day to do that make me happy. Simple
Right.
things. I might like get on YouTube and listen to a comedian. I might put on either a spooky two rife frequency thing to help me with healing something or balancing something. Or I might put on some higher hertz, specifically, different types of hertz for whatever it is that I want to feel. Or I might put on a meditation. But I do things that make me happy, that give me that little flip of joy in my heart to know that I've treated myself well in that day. And people, please listen to me. This is really important. Okay? Treat yourself well. If you're not going to do that, who is? And if you're looking for that outside of you, or you're waiting for it or something like that, you're not living. You're not living in the moment. Now is all we have. So make sure that every moment that you can, you're doing something to make you happy and that doesn't harm anybody else, okay, or anything else.
Right.
So,
No, that's a
yeah,
good point. That's a good point. See, and that's where I like doing, for me, the frequency stuff in the morning. That really seems to help. You know, yeah, I get up, like I said, typos, I don't know, maybe we're just not morning people. Maybe
yeah,
that's why, and that's probably why the intermittent fasting, I know some people struggle with it, but I don't. I have no problem waiting till noon to eat something.
yeah,
But that being said, uh, when I do a freak, which I do, and they got them all over YouTube, you can pull it forth, whatever hertz you want, anything on the
hmm,
solfeggio scale or
yeah,
whatever. And I like 432, 528, like I said, find some nice meditation. But even if I just
mhm.
listen to it for 5 minutes, and it does it instantly energizes me and gets me going. There's a big difference of if I do that or not. And I like to do that.
Absolutely.
I like to even do that because it kind of even perks me up, and I like to even do it before I do a meditation. Is
Mhm.
doing some kind of frequency. Some people just like I don't know, just listen to your music, on your playlist. Put your headphones on,
Yeah,
and pick a upbeat song that you want to listen to. I know a lot of people do that. That they, just to uh, helps them perk up, gets the blood flowing a little bit. And if you're going out, you have to head out the door to work. You're not so grumpy as you go out
yeah,
that door.
yeah. Figure out how you want your day to go and then
Yeah,
proceed accordingly,
exactly.
And it's like one of the things too, if you suffer from high cortisol, which most of us do, then you want to start your day slow and,
Okay.
take the first couple of hours to barely do anything, really, before you have your cup of coffee and, just kind of sit, meditate, listen to beautiful music, stare at the tree, whatever it is that helps you to slowly start your day. That's what you want to do in order to keep your cortisol levels down. And then after that, go crazy. Put on the you know 70s rock or whatever it is, whatever it is that floats your boat, as they say.
Yeah.
Put something on that's going to get you moving. Salsa music,
Plug in some Led
whatever it
Zeppelin. Yeah.
is. Yeah, get moving, get dancing. Dance like nobody's watching. And if they are watching, who cares anyway?
Yeah.
And just do something that's going to get your blood moving and that's going to help you to get that grin on your face, so that you're happy. Enjoy it. You know, life is supposed to be about enjoyment. How many of us really go through our days thinking about that?
Right.
Yeah,
No, I agree. I agree. As they say, things at rest tend to stay at rest, and things in motion stay in motion. So you got to do that first initiation of getting things in motion. Um,
I'll tell you what, I have to drag the carcass up there up the hill every day. I have to talk to myself to to make myself get dressed, get out the door, and do a walk.
right.
The first thing that I do when I get up is I think, oh, maybe I won't walk today. And by the time that I've gotten dressed, then I think, okay, I'm going to go do the walk. But, it's a struggle. Some people can hop out of bed and go do stuff and they're really
Yeah.
happy about it. Me, it's like, oh,
I know the
it's
feeling
really
well.
hard to
Yeah.
get going because I'm not a morning person.
Right.
I would prefer to do things, between 4 and 6 in the afternoon. But, that's kind of basically what schedule I was on for most of my life because I worked nights. And so for me it was really difficult to try to deal with having to do things on a daytime schedule. And I still have that effect even though I've been retired for gosh since 2015 and it's still a struggle. It's getting a little bit easier but not much and I feel it if I get up too early. I feel it, and I have to go take a nap in the
Right.
mid-afternoon, or I just don't feel good because, my body's not geared to that. But yeah, I mean, doing an energizing routine is important, but you got to start with sliding into your day easily. And for me, it's easier to do the slide because I'm not one of those jump out of bed happy people.
Right.
You know, I
Ease
crawl out of
into it.
bed.
Yeah. Yeah. You got, yeah. What you do, you got to ease into everything. And I know that feeling well. And, I know where you're at. So you're able to, like I said, go outside, do your walks a little more year round. Where I'm at, wintertime is pretty much impossible at times. But I try to take advantage of summertime on my meditations and go outside. I'll go out in the backyard. I have some nice trees out there, and and I just set up my meditation pillow and I'll meditate outside. And I notice if I can sit there and ground, because you go out there barefoot, like when I say ground, I've always like you mentioned, I visualize roots going into the ground. But if I can meditate outside, my meditation just goes to another level versus in the wintertime when I'm forced to meditate indoors. Um, there's just something about getting out there. I got the birds are chirping, and you got the wildlife and Mother Nature, and there's nothing like that. So for those that have that capability and have that available to them, I would recommend if you can do outside. You also mentioned, not being a morning person. I know a lot of people. My oldest daughter is one of them. She hates meditating in the morning. She likes to meditate at night and evenings. Um, we've had many discussions like this, and she's like, "Dad, I don't know how you do it in the morning. I can't do it." She's just, and she's a very much more of a jump out of bed, go, and she's got her list, her schedule, and she's out the door. When she comes home at the end of the day from her day, that's when she's winding down, so she's able to calm her mind better at in the evening hours versus in the morning. But whatever works, you find what works for you.
Well, and that brings me to another thing. A lot of people who don't meditate just keep saying they can't do it.
Yeah,
And actually, it's really, really easy to get started. You start with the breath meditation. And so you get yourself comfortable, you make sure there's no distractions, turn off the cell phones and, you know, I- just close yourself off any place. You can do this in the bathroom if that's the only 5 minutes that you have,
yeah,
and just sit there and close your eyes and just breathe and concentrate your attention on your breath. And
exactly.
that's it. And avoid making an assumption of what sounds you hear. So, like if somebody's mowing the lawn outside, instead of saying, "Oh, Joe down the street is mowing the lawn," don't let your brain do that. Stop your brain and start over with the breath again. Just take slow, deep breaths in and out, really easy, and just listen. And like when the air conditioner turns on or the heater turns on, depending on where you are, just notice the sound, but don't judge it.
You
Avoid
observe.
saying what it
Yep.
is. Oh, that's the heater. Oh, that's the air conditioner. Oh, that's a flock of birds outside fighting over a scrap of something. Oh, that's the neighbor's dog. Stop all those kinds of thoughts the minute they start and focus your attention on your breath again. Now, the first few times that you do that, you'll be restarting over and over and over. That's okay because you'll get better at it with each time that you do it. If you can do that breath meditation and avoid having any thoughts for 5 minutes, it'll be like you took a 2-week vacation.
Hmm.
Now, wouldn't that be nice to start your day out feeling like that, feeling refreshed and feeling like you've got enough energy to go through the day?
Right.
So I suggest everybody does that. It's easy, doesn't cost anything. It just requires a little discipline, as so many things do.
Yep. Yeah, and you hit right. 5 minutes. I mean, if you can do more, you can work yourself up. But start out with 5 minutes, and 5 minutes you can stay with that. But if you can at least do 5 minutes, I think most people would notice a big difference. Yeah,
Yeah, I can guarantee it. If they can do 5 minutes of no thought,
yeah,
they will they will be transformed. But people get really impatient. You know, they'll do it a few times and they're like, "Oh, I can't do this." And it's like, "No, you won't do it. If you really want to do this, if you want to get the benefits from it, you can. Anybody can." So you just keep forcing your attention back. And after a while, your brain gets the idea that, oh, yeah, these thoughts are unwelcome. Or as I like to say, tell your monkey mind to go sit in the corner and you'll play with it later. Oh,
That's what it is. Yeah.
just,
Monkey mind, monkey brain.
yeah,
Yeah. I call it. Yeah.
yeah, just breathe. Because when you're doing that and you're paying attention to your breath and you're not making any judgments about what is, you're actually in the moment fully. And being in the moment is vitally important for everything else that you want to do.
Yes.
So then after that, after you're all done with that, hey, turn on the music, dance, call up your friends, take care of your appointments, whatever it is that you have to do.
Right.
And just realize that depending on what kind of blood type you are and what you eat for lunch, that's going to make the difference as to whether you go into a carb slump in the afternoon or you're energized.
Right.
So figure that out for yourself as well. Because otherwise, a lot of people, as soon as they eat lunch, the eyelids start closing.
Yeah.
So at
That
that
afternoon
point, might be
crash.
good to start dancing again.
Yeah.
Dance, sing, jump around, do whatever you have to do to get everything moving again, especially if you're one of those people that's at the computer all day. You got to get up about every 20 minutes actually and move your body
Yeah.
so that it doesn't get stagnant blood. So there's a lot of things that you can do, but that energizing morning routine is vitally important, but it always starts with slow. Wake up to the day. You don't have to jump out and do everything all at once. Just wake up gently, especially if you have a high cortisol level. And just take your time, but don't do anything that's stimulating for the first couple of hours if you can. Instead, just take things gently. If you're a swimmer, you can go jump in the pool, but swim gently. Don't do any competitive stuff. Just kind of laze around in the pool. You know, just enjoy the feeling. Find things to do that help you realize that life can be beautiful. Go sit in a flower garden, whatever floats your boat. Find something that brings you into the day gently. And then you can go crazy later.
Well, yeah, 'cause think on the positive, what's good about the
Yeah.
day. And, a lot of us, and I've done it too, you wake up and you just start focusing maybe on the negative part of the day, oh, I got to do this, or I got to have that, or I got this dumb
Yeah.
meeting today, or I got to, and you start focusing right away on the stuff that you don't like or don't want to do that day, instead of focusing what could be a good part of the day, what's good about waking up. I mean, waking up's a good thing. It's a whole lot
Yeah.
better than the alternative, first off. y-
Exactly.
you know so that's, to me, something right there to be happy about. Is I woke
Yeah.
up. Be happy about
Yeah.
that. If you're
I
looking for
woke
something
up
to
and
be happy
everything
about,
was working.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's a good thing.
is waking up. That's a good thing. So, a lot of people, good morning. Well, what's so good about it? Well, you woke up. Let's
Yeah.
start there. So, and I get it, because I've been there too. I think we all have. You'd mentioned doing a little lemon juice thing in the morning too. Because
Hmm.
I've recently get to where I do a tablespoon or two of lemon juice and mix with
Hmm.
olive oil and a quarter teaspoon of cayenne pepper.
Hmm.
It's a shot. I
Yeah,
make it a little
basically the
shot.
master cleanse. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little miniature, and I do that. I have
Yeah.
started doing that every morning. Yep, I do that.
Yeah, it's good for your body. The cayenne helps the stomach to kind of get ready. And the lemon juice, of course, is highly alkalizing. So that helps and gets your stomach woken up as well.
Right.
And uh, and then the olive oil, of course, your brain needs fats.
Yes.
And so, that helps with that to get some good fats into your body. So yeah, whatever your routine is. Oh, and the other thing too is whenever you're drinking any kind of citrus or other highly acidic fruit, you need to wash your mouth out after that. Otherwise, you could lose your dentin, or your enamel.
That's a good point, and I always forget it. That's a good point. Yeah, with
Yeah,
drinking, yeah,
I did
citrus
too, and I
stuff.
paid the price for that
Yeah.
because I was always drinking lemon water or lime
Okay.
water. And yeah, even in naturopathic school, they didn't tell anybody to rinse their mouth out after that. But I
It's
made
it
sure to tell all my patients that because I ended up with a really serious no enamel left on the teeth
right.
thing. And yeah, it is an acid. It's
This
ascorbic
is nasty.
acid.
It's funny. It alkalines our body on the inside,
Right.
but it's acidic. Yeah. Orally. Yeah.
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 So, if you're a person that has soft teeth, then yeah, you're going to end up with little or
Yep.
no enamel.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's very one of those subtle things that people forget to tell you. They tell you all the wonders of lemon and lime juice and stuff,
Yep.
but they forget to tell you, oh, but by the way, it's an acid and it'll etch your teeth.
Yep.
So, like, don't brush your teeth after that because that'll make the etching even worse. Instead, you just rinse your mouth out,
Just rinse it
and
out. Yes.
that will usually take care of it. A couple swish and swallows, or swish and spits.
Right. It's a good point. That's a very good
Yeah.
point. Yeah. One that I need to become more aware of after I do it. Yeah. Yeah.
All these little tidbits we need to know to keep the
Yes.
bodies in good working order.
Yeah.
Too bad we didn't have a manual.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. Manual would help. Manual would help.
Yeah.
I guess we got to keep the manual up here. Yeah.
I
Manual up
actually
here.
started writing a book on that, and then I had several computer crashes, so I don't know where that went, but it was actually a manual. So maybe one of these days I'll find whichever computer crashed that had it and I can still get it. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah. That'll work. So any other
Okay.
morning tidbits? Energizing mode for you got anything you want to pop in there, Dr. Val?
Um, if you have joint pain,
Yeah.
and that's one of the things that's holding you back for an energizing morning,
Right.
get some ginger oil and
Ginger
rub
oil.
that on your joints, and that will alleviate the joint pain. Also, make sure you're taking essential fatty acids like omega 3s,
Okay.
particularly. Omega 6s will cause a problem. They increase arachidonic acid,
Right.
but omega 3s are really good and they really help with joint pain. So I find
Okay.
like a lot of people, especially as we get older, have problems with joint pain, and that's why they can't do an energizing morning routine. But if you do the ginger oil, yeah, that'll help you. There's
I've
other
never heard that.
things too.
Never. Yeah, I've never heard that about ginger oil. It's good to know.
Yeah, well, it's nice because you can put it on topically, and if you want it to work quick, put some DMSO on after that. Just rub it in on top of it,
Right.
and it'll go deep, and it will really help. So there's a lot of people that are like, "Oh, I'm so creaky when I wake up in the morning," and it's like, yeah, I started making old person noises about 20 years ago, so
Yeah.
I was well prepared.
I hear you there.
Yeah, so
Oh,
that's the main thing. A lot of people think they can't do this energizing morning routine, but the thing is, you got to find what works for you, like
e-
anything else.
exactly. Yes.
Figure out what you want to do and how you're going to do it and what works for you. And if you try it for a couple of weeks and it doesn't work, then try something else. Don't
Yeah.
give up
Experiment.
because this is your life we're talking about.
Yeah.
Let's get going with it on the right side.
Yep. Got to experiment. Just play around with it. So,
Yeah.
well, I think this is all very helpful and useful, everybody. And thanks for everybody for listening in. And I'm Michael Lane with Dr. Val here with the Wonder Network, where we discuss healthy options for humanity. And we will see you next time.